Hello, teacher. My name is Ariana Viera. In this video, I am going to be explaining the translation process, the different tools that are used, and the difference between machine translation and computer assistant translation. So let's get to it. First of all, we need to have our document downloaded. We need to identify the field, or the client is going to tell us what field it is, do a research, and first read it and identify different vocabulary that might need for our database, for our glossary. So I read the document. I identified different vocabulary that I didn't understand. For example, bloodstream, electrolytes, circulation, etc. After we have the document, we need to start with step number one, that is the term extraction. To do that, we go to our favorite browser. In my case, is Google, and we look for term sketch engine. You can use file filters and other different tools, but I'm going to be using Sketch Engine. We start here and we choose and how many languages we want to translate our document. In my case, it's only one. So only one. We select the language of our document. It is English in my case. We confirm it. If you make a mistake, you still can reset it and change the language. We choose, or we can drag them here, drag the document here. We choose it since I already have it downloaded in my desktop. So I look for it, and it's this one, Midterm Exam. We wait for it to load, and we go to extract terminology. We wait. Sometimes it can take long depending on your internet and different factors. And now we have our different terms extracted from our document. We have single words and multiple words. You can click on it and see, for example, regulating ability. I'm going to stay with single words, and we can even see the statistics. We click on it and we see the frequency, how many times this term has been used in the document, right? So I chose different terms from this extraction, and I based on the frequency that is used. So I can use the same translation um, for these words throughout the document, right? I'm not going to be changing it. So I chose 10 words. I read them and I chose them carefully to build my database. Now let's go with my database. In my browser again, we go to Airtable. We type Airtable. In my case, I already have an account. So I scroll down and go for my database. I click on it. And I have the 10 terms that I chose carefully from the term instruction. The different sections that I have for each term, they are sorted by um, alphabetically order. Um, and we have part of speech, the definition, the translation, like I said, that I'm going to be using in throughout the translation, an example in a sentence, some notes in how this term it is used in the medical field, and the link from what I extracted the information, right? So I already have my database that is going to help me to translate, right, the document. So I finished the database and then I went to the CAT tool that is MateCat. We go to our browser and we type MateCat, and is this one translate a file with MateCat? And we have the different options right here. First of all, we have project name, um, the name of your document, right? In my case, it's going to be midterm exam. We'll leave the original settings. The team, you can do it as a team, but in my case, I'm doing it by myself. So it's going to be personal. Different translators can be working on the same translation, but in my case, it's by myself. And now we choose our language from our document. In my case, it's English USA, and I need to translate it to Spanish. We look for it, Spanish. We have difference. In my case, I want Latin America. Confirmed. Subject. In this case, we can choose the topic of our document. It could be finances, chemical, architecture, but I'm going to choose medical pharmaceutical. So I chose it, and then you can upload your document, or you can even drag them here. I'm gonna upload it. I look for it. Is this one? We wait for it to load. And then we click on Analyze. We wait. And then it tells us how many words we have in the document. So by the time we need to charge for the document to be translated, um, we can say, oh yeah, 298 words are in this document, and you charge the amount, a certain amount for each word, right? Okay, and then we go and translate it. It takes us to another page. And then we have the different sections. As you can tell, it divides the document in different sections. And sometimes you can see it right there. It shows us the sign that the signal that we can't work on it. So we just click on the lock, and yeah, now it's unlocked. And now we go checking each section, right? We check each section. What's the sign? Fue diseñado. It sounds good. Is it this word that I chose in my database that I'm going to be using throughout the document? We can change it, or if it's fine, we're going to translate it, and is the same with the others. If it's locked, we unlock it. And then the regulating ability of hormones. If this is the word that I chose in my database, I check on it, the definition and everything. I change it if I want to, if not, translate it. And that's how we go and do the rest of the document, right? Using the same words that I did from the beginning and doing my previous research. Research. When I finish this and I already checked everything, I can go to download. I can download the document. It says download translation, download translation. And now we can have it in PDF or in Word format. And I already have the document ready, right? And after I already analyzed it. In my case, this is my translation that I finished. This is the translation that I did. La capacidad reguladora de las hormonas. I checked the vocabulary, if it sounded too literal. I analyzed it, and this is the translation process. Now, I would like to explain some problems and solutions that I found throughout the translation process. First, one of the challenges that I found was clarity, because sometimes I was like, this doesn't go exact to the point exactly. Maybe, yeah, I can change this here and here. So I was looking for some tools and I found Grammarly. I started the free trial, and this is a screenshot from when I was doing it. For example, oh, improve your text, it checks grammar. And there's a comma missing here. There's these, it's that. For example, here we have that we can improve our text by replacing dejen de filtrar calcio en vez de decir dejen de filtrar el calcio en la sangre y nos ayuda a mejorarlo. It helps us improve. Sorry. Um, yeah, and it checks grammar, clarity, etc. So this is a tool that helped me. And I think the principal problem that I found was the the cat tool obviously translates literal, right? And sometimes it sounded too literal. And the solution for that problem was to look for some articles, um, that talk about the topic that is my document about. For example, I had problem in translated one part that it said that these glands are the size of a um, grain of rice. So I look for a document, and this helped me to kind of modify the structure of the translation. So this was my solution. And sometimes um, for to build our database, we cannot find the correct information. So I went and looked for a medical dictionary of health from Harvard Health Publishing. So I think that would be a good tool to use during the process. To finish, I would like to explain the difference between machine translation versus computer assisted translation. They can sound similar, but they are not. The three main differences we have number one, that is time. Machine translation is faster because you simply copy and paste the test and get an instant results like Google Translator. But CAT tools, they require more time because they involve features such as translation memory, term bases, etc. Accuracy, machine translation is not 100% accurate because it may not fully understand the context in complex and dynamic languages, but CAT tools rely on professional translators whose training helps ensure higher accuracy for the context of the translation. The cost, many machine translations are free, like Google Translator, but CAT tools are they usually require payment to access their features, except for MakeCat, right? That it is free. In conclusion, the choice between machine translation and CAT tools depends on the project and the translation that you need. So this is it for my presentation for my exams and the translation process. Thank you so much for your attention.